Hey guys, thanks for joining me again. Well, I've got Lee Slater with me again this week. Lee, how you going?
Good, mate. How are you?
Yeah, very well. Now, you've brought in another one of your beautiful guitars today. What have you brought in?
Yeah, this one's a 1965 335 in the sunburst finish. This guitar, probably had it about coming up 20 years maybe.
Well, let's talk about the original condition of it when you bought it. What kind of state was it in?
Yeah, when I got this guitar, it was in very good condition, which I find most 335 guys tend to look after their guitars a bit more. I don't know whether that's a worldwide thing or not. Originally, it had a trapeze tailpiece on the guitar, and the only other thing that was not quite right about this guitar, it had a headstock break at some point, and so it was a little bit cheaper than some of the others.
Well, let's talk about that actually. I mean, as a collector, and you've got a lot of guitars, how do you feel when you see a guitar with a headstock break? Does it?
For me, it doesn't matter one iota. I think that if it's a good sounding guitar, then it's a good sounding guitar. I mean, there's plenty of famous guys, Gary Rossington, Gary Moore, Peter Green, that had Les Pauls with broken headstocks. It never seemed to trouble the tone that they got, So I think it's a good way to get into the vintage market because they're a lot cheaper than guitars that are intact, if you like. If it's had a really ugly looking bad break, then maybe pass, but this one had a minor break and it was repaired very, very well.
Well, let's talk about what you actually did to the guitar, because originally this was a trapeze guitar?
Yeah, it had a trapeze tail, and I'd had it a few years, and I thought, well, it's had a headstock break. I'd really fancy putting a stoptail. If it hadn't been broken, I probably would have left it. But I find that the trapeze is a little bit banjo-y for me. Some guys will say, no, it's exactly the same sound, but I find the feel of it, acoustically, if you like, a little bit banjo. So I decided to go ahead and put the stoptail in the right place, because you see so many that are down here somewhere, which looks really not too good. And so anyway, off I went, got it done, and it completely transformed the guitar overnight. It went from being a bit banjo to more like a Les Paul sounding 335,
Well, we were talking off camera, if heaven forbid your house caught fire and you had to grab one of your 335s, and you've got some beautiful ones, would this be the one you'd grab?
I think it might be, yeah. The others are great, don't get me wrong, but this guitar, it's headstock break and all, it's just sounds great, and they're not paths in this guitar, they're just standard, what you find at the time, the patent pickups with the patent label on the bottom, but they sound really great. So yeah, I'd probably go for this one.
I guess everyone's waiting to see what it sounds like, so why don't we have a listen to Lee playing on his 335.